Hey guys, welcome back to another video for the GS460. So today we're actually going to be degreasing the engine bay. It's filthy dirty. I know you guys saw in the video that when I changed the spark plugs, it is just disgusting. It's got a lot of engine gunk in there. So we're going to be changing out the tube seals for the spark plugs and then also the valve cover gaskets. So everything that I bought, I'll have in the link in the description in the box below. So that way you guys can purchase the exact same ones, get the right part numbers and everything like that. The reason why the engine has so much gunk in it is because of the leak that I'm having. Over time, the seals, they go bad, and it's 2008, so it's 14 years old. Something's gonna start giving out, you know, rubbers, plastics, all that stuff. So I've noticed that a lot of the plastics, they're so brittle, they just snap off. And that kind of just comes with the territory of owning an older vehicle. So let's go ahead and do this, change it all out, and I can already see, you know, where I'll need to detach everything for the valve cover gasket replacement. It's not gonna be easy, and I know you guys mentioned in my spark plug video that I didn't use a swivel for my ratchet. That is correct, I did not use it, but I'll be picking one up, so that way I actually need to use that in order to get to the bolts that hold that valve cover together. So I want to get rid of all that stuff in there, so that way I have a cleaner workspace inside the engine. And then no one likes a dirty engine bay anyway, so go ahead and clean this up. So what I am using is this Purple Power. You guys mentioned it in the Facebook group for the GS460 when I actually asked you guys what I need to be using to get rid of all that gunk, and you guys mentioned a degreaser, Purple Power. This was like $4 at Walmart to buy. So I already have a mixture. It's diluted 50-50 with water. A lot of people will do like 5-to-1 ratio, but seeing as I have a lot of gunk in the engine bay, I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to be using a 50-50 blend. And then to get into the little nooks and crannies, I went ahead and bought these little scrubbers. I'm probably going to be using this one, not the metal ones, but just a nice hard brush to scrub some of that grit out of there. Alright, well there you guys go. So now I'm just going to let her dry off for a bit. So you can see that majority of the spark plug, like grimy stuff around it, is all gone. There's some stuff like here and there, but that's not a huge issue. And like I said, I know it was probably because of the seals going bad and the gaskets going bad, and that's why all this oil like started leaking out and making a huge mess inside the engine bay. But it looks much cleaner now. So now what I'll do is just go over like those little things with a rag and just clean those off. But for majority of it, it looks pretty damn good. Alright guys, so we're gonna be breaking it down to 2 days because I don't want to stress myself out and trying to get this done as soon as I can. I want to make sure I do it right. So today, degrease the engine bay, let that dry, and then tomorrow we'll start unbolting everything and getting those gaskets out and replacing those tube seals. So I'll see you guys then.
The next morning.
Today's the day. So we're gonna go ahead and change out those valve cover gaskets and the spark plug tube seals. So what you'll need to do is to take off the battery like you did before with the spark plug, and take off the the fuse box and the intake. So I showed you guys how to do that in the last video when taking off the spark plug, so I'm not going to show you how to do it now, but I would highly recommend, you know, when you're changing the spark plugs, go ahead and change out your valve cover gaskets and the tube seals as well, so that way you can do it all at one time. You're not taking it off twice like I am right now. So after I take off these accessory pieces, and I have more access to the valve cover. After that, then I'll be able to determine like what wires I'll need to take off and disconnect in order for me to remove the gasket. So what I did is went ahead and purchased this. It still has the receipt on there, but this is the flexible ratchet T-bar, so it has a swivel at the very end. This is super helpful. This would actually help you change out the spark plugs. I didn't use this before, but I already test fitted this, so to make sure I can get to those screws for the valve cover, and this works phenomenal. So I already have some of them loose, so I know I'll be able to perform the job with this. So I would highly recommend buying this. I got this at Harbor Freight, and this is a 3/8 drive because all of my sockets are 3/8. So the main one you'll be using is a 10mm socket. So that's pretty much it. Let's get to it. Okay, so now you have a better visual of what we're going to be working on. So this is the valve cover here. You can see all the bolts here and there. So this is going to be removed. So I'm going to disconnect all the sensors, remove it, and as you can see, like, we degreased the engine, so you can see the difference. That's how it was before, and that's how it is now. So once the valve cover is removed, I'll be able to just take all this extra stuff off. Okay, so we have removed all the coil packs along with all of the seals for the tubes. So we're going to keep those separated for now. What we're going to be doing now is removing all the sensors like I said before, and then after that all these screws here will be loosened up and we can take off the valve cover. Alright guys, so we have all these spark plugs, coil packs out, disconnected all the sensors, and I already started taking off all the screws for the valve cover. We have some of them here. I wanted to save all the juicy bits for you guys, that way you guys can see exactly like how it looks. See how like super simple that is. Boom. And I know you noticed that my hands are a little dirty and that I already degreased the engine. So these are like all the deep parts that I wasn't able to get to with, you know, with the intake and the fuse box in the way. So like I said, once we remove this valve cover, we'll completely take it out and I'll be able to degrease whatever I need to, just to make a, you know, a nice clean engine bay. You know, who knows what else I'm going to be doing in here, and I don't want to keep doing it with dirty hands and you know, dirtying new parts and stuff like that. So that's one thing you don't want to do. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is all the screws for the valve cover, and then after this I'll show you guys all the new stuff. Go over the part numbers, where I got it from, and everything like that, so that way if you guys need to perform this, you guys can do exactly what I'm doing and you can get the exact parts that I got. Alright guys. go, guys. We have the passenger side valve cover off, and as you can see, here is the seal. So we're going to be taking that entire thing off. We also are going to spray this down with brake cleaner, and then I might even just do the degreaser. So I wasn't able to get in those little fine spots. So like these spots here, I can degrease again and then just wash it all down. Because when I put this back together, I want it to be spotless. I want it to be super clean. So, you know, who doesn't want a clean engine bay? So I know I do, especially, you know, me just getting this vehicle. I want everything that I touch, I want to be cleaned off and looking brand new. So let's go ahead and clean this one off and change out the seal. Alright, there we have it, guys. So we went ahead and did one side, cleaned it all off, and now we will have to do is let it dry, and we can put the new gasket on there, throw it back in the vehicle, and then get started on the other side. I'm gonna get started this on tomorrow. I got some things to do. I gotta pick up the kids and get groceries and all that stuff. So we're gonna continue this tomorrow. This seems to be actually a pretty simple job. I just don't have like all the time to do it in one sitting. If you just follow the steps that I've been doing, super easy. I didn't have another YouTube video to watch. I kind of just eyeballed it to see what I needed to do, what I needed to take off first, and went from there. So it really helps having the right tools and having a game plan of what you're going to be doing, and keep all your stuff organized as well. So let's go ahead and tackle this tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright guys, welcome back. So we have this fully dried valve cover. So I cleaned it off with degreaser. Now it is very nice, very clean to the touch. This was full of gunk, if you guys remember, from the spark plug job. And now I cleaned it off with a nice scrubber, with a degreaser, hit it with the power washer, let that dry. Now we're going to be able to put it back in there, plug all the sensors back up, make sure this is perfect, and then we'll basically do the exact same thing to the opposite side. And after that, I'll put more engine oil in and change up the seals, all that stuff. So let me go over the new gasket and the new seals. Alright, so here are the gaskets I got from North Scottsdale, Bell Lexus. If you guys want to check them out, I know a lot of people buy them from eBay, but I live down the street, so I went ahead and purchased them in person. So on here is the left one and the right one. They weren't too expensive, but here's the part numbers as well, and I'll put them in the description down below, so that way you guys can check it out. And then here is also the spark plug seals for the tubes. Brand new, very nice. And all that gunk and stuff that was on the engine bay, that was from the leak anyway, so all this needs to be changed out. So I would highly recommend, you know, if you have a gunky engine, this is pretty much the cause of it. So go ahead and change it out. What I do need to do is, if you can see here, I plugged up the tubes for the spark plug, so that way I can go ahead and clean them out. So I'll need to take out the spark plugs and just clean off all the oil that's inside of there and just put it back in there. No harm, no foul, and there we go. that's pretty much it for the process. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'll see you guys when it's done. Alright guys, it is all buttoned up. The job is done. Took a lot longer than I expected, but that was just because I had, you know, other things to do. Got to pick up the kids and all that. So I was only able to work on the car for 2 hours a day. This is probably a good like 6-hour job. And it's not too hard. It's honestly just unbolting a lot of the accessory components in order to get to the valve cover. But this is the final touch now. So what I have done is change the valve covers, change the seals for the spark plug tubes, and then I also topped it off with brand new engine oil. I had 2 problems, okay? I'll start out with the really bad one. So I went ahead, if you come over here, okay, don't make this mistake, but I did. I unbolted this screw right here. Don't do that, okay? This is for your AC. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know this stuff. So I had to learn the hard way. It sprayed in my face. Had to go to urgent care. Had to put the saline in my eyes, all that stuff. So that's why I'm wearing safety glasses now. Go ahead and get them from your local Home Depot, Milwaukee. So that is done though. I have to actually take this to Brakes Plus and get new Freon for them to flush it out because I introduced air into the system. But that's not a big deal at all. There's a Brakes Plus right down the street from me. The other thing that I did was I unscrewed the engine oil dipstick tube in order for me to get to that valve cover, okay? Now you're gonna have to do that anyways, but I was fidgeting with it a lot and actually came undone underneath where it actually connects to the oil pan. If that happens to you, don't worry, go underneath, just plug it right back in. And that's pretty much it. The car's done. I haven't started it yet. We're gonna do it right now. Let's go ahead and see if it starts. Guys, that's pretty much it. I'm getting her nice and cleaned up, and I will end it here.